back with more dual destinies. What does this bitch have to say for himself? All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got to the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him. If you say so. So you're certain that you didn't set off the bombs or murder a victim? Ha ha. Ha ha ha. But I bet you think I'm lying, right? I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony. I am susceptible to believing one or the other if you sway me correctly. I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. I don't think the judge sounds that. Who'd wear a suit like that except for an astronaut? The same people who wear fucking NASA sweaters, even though they don't work anywhere near NASA. I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous. Though I suppose reality... What? Oh my god! How dare you make a fade so that I had to keep this part in even though I stumbled? This is why I can't fucking stream this game, because I stumble so much and I cut out so much in the recordings. You ruined everything, you judge! Though I suppose reality never quite lives up to a fantasy. Guess I'm just a big disappointment. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. I really don't care what happens anymore. Ha ha ha. Oh no, he's completely given up. What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on the other inmates. Man's just trying to breathe. Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago. Oh, that was probably... Oh. Huh? That was Blackwell sighing? I guess that's why it was question marks. Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbucks is my client, I can't be gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth. I don't even remember what he said. He gave testimony? I know he did. I read it. I literally just completely forgot that he gave testimony. What'd he say? Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Okay, so where did the explosion happen? So how could he have taken the elevator if the electricity turned off or whatever, right? There was a power outage and the affected areas remained dark. The security system switched over to emergency power and continued to work. Evacuees moved to the basement shelter. So the security system switched over to emergency power, but does that include the elevator? Let me just press first. Is that the elevator inside the launch pad and area? That's right. We always use it to get to and from the cockpit. That makes sense. So he was just using the route he always used, in spite of the fact that there had just been an explosion? Huh? I think Mr. Starbuck is hiding something. Something pretty big. Okay, so it exploded near the elevator. Okay. Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall when the bomb went off in the launch pad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right, which means... Exactly. The launch pad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words, Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. What the? Where'd you get the helmet from? What's with the helmet?
Mission Command, do you read me? Come in, please.
This is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention. Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck. My helmet! My oxygen tank! Oxygen concentration, body temperature decline. Requesting medical assistance. You're so overdramatic. This is the first fucking contradiction. Mr. Starbuck, we're not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up. Sorry, my nose was itchy, damn it. I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. It's like when the astronauts drop a cup expecting it to float and then it falls to the ground. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbucks, the astronaut. Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you used the middle level elevator? I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think. A different route?
I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time.
I'll get it right this time. Maybe. No, I mean, probably.
Probably?
It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court. Yeah, he'll get it right this time, for sure. My escape route. Let's see, my escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably, with the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we can make our escape that way. How did you carry a man and the fucking thing via a ladder? And the capsule you mentioned. I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Turan here? Was the capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you? It almost goes without saying, but yeah, the capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. You were heading off into space, wouldn't you just gotten more samples at some point? You just go up to a rock and be like, pick, pick, pick. Sample for me. With the spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important. I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony. Man, I don't give a fuck. Maybe I am guilty after all. I wonder if you can see the stars in prison. Bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship. Miserable. But when he's just like standing up normal, he looks so positive and like confident, man. Like a handsome guy. But then when he starts fucking freaking the fuck out. The upper level of the launch pad area? That's right. That's what I said, isn't it? Granted, that route does exist. So to recap, you had clay over your right shoulder and the capsule in your left hand. Yeah, it's really important. So I couldn't let it get burned up. Even though clay was really heavy, I couldn't afford to carry him with both hands. I did the best I could with him over one shoulder and the capsule in my other hand. I don't think the meaning of what he just said has hit him yet. You know what you have to do with that statement. Justice Dono. Yes, I know. Well, I've come this far. No turning back now. It's time to present some evidence. Now, how do I dispute this? Do I have a ladder in my evidence to... Oh! Do I present this that has the ladder? Okay, seems like it. Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth? The truth? Oh, let's see. The Earth is blue? No, that's not right. I guess the Earth isn't blue? Yeah, that's it. The truth, Mr. Starbuck. Ah! The oxygen concentration is super low in this area! Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks! Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Huh? Not as long as this was along the escape route. Right? To get down from the upper to the middle level, where the Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck? Of course! That was the only way we could escape! But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Turan over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was in full space gear, as well as putting him over the 200 pounds. Ah! Oh! Ah! Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity's only 1/6 of what it is on Earth. But the space center is located on Earth. Why do I even have to say that? Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your others is impossible. Wouldn't you say? Even if you didn't have the capsule in one arm, you still wouldn't be able to fucking drag a whole ass body down the ladder. You'd have to throw him down. Oh! So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down that ladder with your arms full? Ah! Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth. Now! Ah! Engineer! Where's that engineer? Oxygen link! Defend! What? Oh my god, I flubbed, and then he flew away, and I couldn't give a chance to fucking fix myself. There's a lot of problems. What the? He's flying the coop! Ah! Help! I'm caught on the ceiling! Help! Anyone! Meredith! Prepare the cherry picker! We must launch our rescue mission at once! Cherry picker? Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so we can go to space again someday for real. Even if he doesn't want to? Look at his butt. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yes, I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Not that! Anything but that! What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. It appears Spaceboy is prone to deception. Witness. Yikes! Yes? I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Prosecutor Blackwell! Please don't talk about that! What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell? Didn't I already state that Spaceboy is ironically terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in the system. Are you allowed to take any drugs if you're an astronaut about to go into space? I guess there must be, like, some that can pass. I wondered, but oh, I sense things are about to nosedive. You got it all wrong! I told him during the investigation too! I don't know anything about any drugs! I never took any medication, I swear! It was found in the system, but he doesn't remember taking it? How could that be? Did he get drugged? Somebody must have slipped them to me! But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember? Because of the side effects? Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened. Can't you check if the doctor ever prescribed him medication? You can't just buy anti-anxiety medication over the counter, I don't think. I don't know. What? That spacesuit really makes his fucking ass look fat. Order a court. We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony keeps changing. Ugh. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? I guess he didn't want anyone to find out he was terrified of going into space. But if he already blabbed about it during the investigation, it was gonna come out eventually. Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question, of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body. It does? So what is it? A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, just a dono. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Oh my god. Oh my! I see. And then the defendant could have climbed down with his free hand. Drop the body down? Who would do such a disrespectful thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct. Really? Oh, thanks. Ah! Huh? What's this? It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am, for they fracture easily when struck. Even if that's true, the tank's explosion of shrapnel would leave its marks on his body. Yet according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning. A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of fabric of tomorrow. Then how did he get stabbed then? Fuck off! This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer. Then shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? Then Blackwell's gonna be like, it doesn't include sharp, pointy objects. Fuck off. It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit structure and found its way to its target. Fucking shut the hell up. Fucking shit. What are the chances? What would have happened if Starbuck was the one who did it? What would have happened if he missed the weak spot then? Then what would have happened? Did he know about the weak spot? Do you think he's smart enough to know about the weak spot? Fuck. It's all stupid. You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suits work. My ass. He's got me there. I don't want to give him that much credit, to be honest. And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded him. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Turan. Ah! Here, the report regarding the astronaut's oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx. If I'm down there, I won't need oxygen, huh? Hey, this report is pretty detailed. Let's see. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. I guess that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen in the tank. I'm done for. Would they have utilized the oxygen tank while they were still on Earth? would they not have utilized it at some point when they're up in space, right? When does the oxygen tank start getting used? Does it start getting used like when they're making their way to the ship? Because that doesn't seem right. I'm going to prison instead of space! Space boy. Yes? Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars. You mean the stars as seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. It's like, what? What? Ha. That's not a half bad thought. Mr. Starbuck, Prosecutor Blackwell's got damn good. What? Oh, whatever. I don't care.
Spaceship prison cell, fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together!
Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope!
Oh! Yes, Apollo?
You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you were an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation.
He said that?
So don't give up now, and help me prove your innocence, for the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Turan! For Clay! You're wasting your breath. I'm okay. Wow, look at that. Confident man. It's on par with Sidon's pose in the Legend of whatever. Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. Mr. Starbuck, I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right, we'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent. We'll see. I mean, you'll see. we'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Rah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself! This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash. Stop fucking looking up the sun, the moon! All of space is calling me. Solomon Soul Starbuck! Ready for launch! Begin the countdown! 5, 4, 3, 2. What are you counting down? 1. What are you counting down? Where are you going? Lift off! Wow! I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck. That doesn't help the situation. I mean, it helped a little bit, but we still got a problem on our hands, don't we? I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? Gah! I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. I love that picture. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think! If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now, let's see. About this data that we just received, it supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body at Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your baldness. Let's have your verdict. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now, it says Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Turan had 0. Do you stand by that accuracy of this report? Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Donor. It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description, you'll see what I mean. Oh wait, I like literally didn't even, I never even read this. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. After the incident, the victim's tank was ruptured and the remaining oxygen was 0. The tank belonging to Starbucks, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full. Tanks were functioning properly at the time. It was functioning properly at the time of what? Because it said that the tank was ruptured, but it was functioning properly? What's the, because the obvious issue would be that it says it's 80% full, but the fucking picture showed it was 50%, presumably. Is that the only thing? I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. I can't fucking look at shit. Yes, Your Honor. Right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. The photo, right? Presumably? The oxygen tank is also so tiny. Just a little thing on the arm. How does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here. Okay, so I'm assuming it's here, right? Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbucks' tank as he carries Mr. Turan. Appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased? Oh, okay, I see what they were saying. It didn't occur to me the timing of when that oxygen tank data report came out. Because that would, okay, I understand now. I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my! You're absolutely right! What is going on here? I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. Well, I mean, you're a growing boy. You need more food. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse. Heh. I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. And also, you stopped growing at the age of 30-something, but whatever. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it. In that case, you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen. You'd better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction. Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, how can it be a malfunction if it said the tanks were working properly at the time? Stupid judge. I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So, do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can. He just blew into it. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay, so this man with a 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not, why did the oxygen level increase? But, what had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Am I making some kind of a mistake in my base assumptions here? Yeah, you're already laying it on too thick. Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. The victim was carrying the defendant. What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage, but it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Turan, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Turan at all. It was Mr. Turan who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. What? It was what? Order! Mr. Justice! You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Turan? It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right! There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Turan was alive as they made their escape to the lounge. Humph! How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed, even if the victim was alive at this point in time? How did he descend the ladder with his arms full? Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade. He very certainly can. Even if it's broken, if there's still a blade on it, it gon' hurt! Excuse me? It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Turan was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Ah! There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements?
Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right?
You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. Seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene. Score. Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand? There he is! What was his voice? I have an announcement, everyone. I don't remember his voice. It was too long ago. Well, what's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was disfused, but it's about to explode. Hold! A bomb? Now? Yeah, everybody run! I don't want to die! Oh no, everyone's panicking! You know, in the animated cutscene, it doesn't show Ted and Nate being at the stand. He shows them in the gallery, I'm just saying. Headless chickens with a death wish. The lot of you, calm yourself above or else. Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here! But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? Who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow up the truth forever. I refuse to let things end here. Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. You can continue the trial later. Come on, this way. Hey, ouch, let me go. Why is he being stubborn? You can literally postpone it. Everyone else is leaving. Apollo! Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet. Juniper, are you alright? I just remembered something. In the first case, when we had first heard about Juniper, and then she was going through the things that were happening during this event, Apollo has shielded her from debris falling down, right? Did he have a bandage on his face at that time? I think one side of his face was covered. It might have been the side with the bandage. But was there an indication that he had a bandage on at that time? Apollo! No! Not that way! Ah! I can't believe we've come full circle. To be continued. But that's also where we're gonna leave off for this episode, obviously. Why the hell would I continue from here? We're gonna find out if they survived or not. Do you think they survived?